it's June 2nd. Call this meeting to order. Commissioner Holbrook, you please open us with prayer.
Sir. Heavenly Father, God, we just thank you for this day and this opportunity to serve Boyd County. So grant us wisdom and integrity, and as we conduct business for you, guide our decisions and our direction, and help us always seek the best for this county and the people who call it home. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Let's stand and salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, clerk, will you please call roll?
Judge Cheney.
Here.
Commissioner Salisbury.
Here.
Commissioner Holbrook.
Here.
Commissioner Stapleton.
Here.
All right. Move to approval of minutes for the May meeting. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, will you please call roll?
Commissioner Stapleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Holbrook.
Yes.
Commissioner Salisbury.
Yes.
Judge Cheney.
Yes. Next, we'll move to the finance section. Approval of submitted bills and transfers. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, will you please call roll?
Commissioner Stapleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Holbrook.
Yes.
Commissioner Salisbury.
Yes.
Judge Cheney.
Yes. Next, we'll move to the general section. First, we have Boyd County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement. We do this every year. This is an agreement with the state. State allots X amount of money for pretty much the miles of road that you have in your community. This year, that number is $676,699.11. And this is a decrease. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Missy, do you remember how much? 100 and...
It's about 147 or 46.
So about $140-some thousand decrease from last year. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, why not? State sticks it to us any chance that we can possibly get. They've done it to us on a jail over here. We've had that conversation multiple times, so I wasn't shocked to see a decrease in road aid. So it's unfortunate, very much so. Can we get a motion in a second?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, will you please call roll?
Commissioner Stapleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Holbrook.
Yes.
Commissioner Salisbury.
Yes.
Judge Cheney.
Yes. Next on the agenda is Westwood Fire Department CDBG settlement agreement. I'm assuming it's this resolution. Is that correct, or is that something different? Okay, it says a resolution of Boyd County Fiscal Court authorizing the Boyd County Judge Executive to execute agreement with WBW Engineering and West Tech Development. This is a closeout for the Westwood Fire Department CBDG revamp. They done a very good revamp of that fire station. Looks good. We're happy that CBDG was able to approve that and get it rolling. So this is a good thing. This is the final closeout of that. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, we actually got a outreach center for our sheriff's department, that too, didn't we? That's a good thing. Yep.
That's awesome. All right. Any further discussion? Clerk, will you please call roll?
Commissioner Stapleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Holbrook.
Yes.
Commissioner Salisbury.
Yes.
Judge Cheney.
Next, we'll move to transparency. We have a community development update from Casey.
Good afternoon. So the first thing is Touch a Truck. That is this Friday. Hello?
Here we go.
There you go.
Now you can hear me. Okay. So the first thing is Touch a Truck. That is this Friday at the Convention Center. It starts at 10 o'clock from 10 to 11. We're doing sensory hours. So we ask all of our participants to keep their lights off and the sounds down, not to be honking horns and all that stuff. And then at 11 o'clock until 1, we let them turn on their lights, their sirens. The kids are allowed to honk the horns and all that stuff. So it'll be from 10 to 1 with that sensory hour in the beginning. We're going to have inflatables, crafts, Kona Ice will be there. We're going to have food. It's totally free for the community to come to. So come hang out with us on Friday at the Convention Center. Thank you to all of our sponsors for sponsoring those events to make sure that they're free for our community members. The next thing that we have coming up is Fun in the Sun. That's taking place at Longest Day of Play. I talked about that a little bit last time, but the longest day of the year falls on Father's Day this year on Sunday. So we're kicking it back a few weeks and calling it Fun in the Sun, but it's the same thing. We're going to have a foam party. We're going to watch Nemo at 9 o'clock. We will have games, inflatables, water slides, all that kind of stuff. So it is a ton of fun, and that starts at 6. So the event starts at 6. The movie will start at 9, so we're usually there until around 11 or so. That'll happen at the old Boyd County football field behind the preschool. That is also free to the community. You don't have to pay to come hang out. You don't have to pay for your food, for your Kona Ice, any of that. We have that covered from our sponsors. So come hang out with us. It's always a lot of fun as well. And like our Facebook page for more info and details on all of those and other upcoming events. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good stuff. Next, under transparency, we come to upcoming animal shelter events.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
All right, so 2 things coming up. June 25th at 6 o'clock for anybody that needs to de-stress. We have yoga at the shelter. So we have a local yoga teacher that wants to have yoga with the dogs. So anybody that's interested, it's a free event. And bring your bug spray because it will be outside. And then July 18th from 1 to 5 is Spay Watch, an adoption event. We are looking for volunteers, so anybody that wants to be a lifeguard that day, please come out and help. So if you came to our Christmas event, we will have a lot of the same vendors, but we're looking for more. So if you're a maker, a creator, and you want to come out to the shelter, you can send us a message. That's it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Blair.
All right, next we'll move to community comment. I assume we have a pretty good amount of community comment today. It's the same as kind of how it was last night. We got a timer up here, and once we start talking, we'll do that. And it's a good thing, very important. So community comment. We don't have a list of people or nothing like that, so just come up as you please.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
It's been a while since I've been up here. First and foremost, I want to say thank you guys for hosting the meeting last night for the data center. I'm up here right now to talk about not necessarily what's going on in East Park, but what's going on in the future of our county and the possibility that these type of centers are not going to be, we're basically opening the floodgates for these type of centers to come in for farmland, private property. And one thing I noticed last night and heard a lot of is we don't have any zoning, we don't have any planning for these type of industries or these type of organizations. So I think it's important that we look at the future of zoning and planning. Once again, my name is Sean Borst. I live on Cheshire Lane. So I have worked diligently with the Kentucky Resource Council in the past, and that is an organization who was developed in the late 80s, who has helped establish a lot of local, county, regulatory policies to help citizens navigate throughout the state. So we used them in early 2015 to basically help control the landfill. So through the KRC and through our organization, we were able to file suit against the county, the state, and the landfill to stop waste by rail. And I don't know how many people were here during that. I see a lot of new faces, but one thing I learned during that time period is that the county has a lot more powers at hand, and it's very important that the county understands that they can use those powers to protect the community. We can't just turn our head and say, we don't have any regulations, we don't have any ordinances. One thing that we have to be sure of moving on in the future is that we do put protections in place. There's a good example going on in Maysville right now where you've got a local farm, a local family who's got $23 million offered to purchase their land. And by the grace of God, they are saying, no, we're not going to give up our land for this data center. Now, personally, I would have a hard time with that, but I give them credit. What's preventing that from coming into our area and setting up shop next to your family, next to your business? We don't have anything. And to everybody's amazement, we do have the ability to put ordinances and regulatory plans in place for future data centers. I sent an email, because this is all new, I haven't had a lot of time to research. I sent an email to everybody on the fiscal court outlining an ordinance that the Kentucky Resource Council and their lead counsel, Tom Fitzgerald, has outlined and developed for states and counties to utilize. This ordinance is geared and aimed directly towards counties that do not have zoning and planning. This ordinance is designed to not necessarily prevent a business from locating, but it's designed to allow the county to regulate how the business interacts and conducts its operation within the community. So it protects the community, it protects wildlife, citizens, it protects soil, air, noise. It's a 20-page ordinance. It's a model ordinance right now. It's something that's being developed and something that each county can take and look at and adopt for themselves to better and maybe make it better or make changes as needed. So you guys have that. I know it was sent to the county attorney. I just spoke with him. So I recommend let's look at this ordinance. Let's move forward as quickly as possible. The city of Ashland has already put a moratorium on any data center future proposal. I've sent this ordinance to the city also, just in case they needed it. The city obviously has good zoning and planning right now. So this ordinance right now will give the county the protections it needs for future industry and data centers. So we can't look at this in the future and go, we didn't have the tool necessary to protect our community. I'm giving you guys the tool. The KRC is giving you the tool. I've attached key members of the KRC to the judge, contacts. I'm a viable, useful asset to that. I've worked with them for 10 years on the landfill. I'm still involved with the landfill today. I still get questions, and we still have to vote on issues that come up in reference to that landfill. So I didn't want to be back up here so soon, but I feel that this topic needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed quickly. The floodgates are open, gentlemen.
Yes, they are.
You guys know that. You know that these companies are looking for land. They're looking for places to set up shop. If we don't act quickly, then these are just going to continue to spread and populate. I understand it's a necessary evil. We all use data. We're all using these resources. But let's figure out how to make sure they don't impede on neighbors and residents, and make sure they're good corporate citizens. I'm going to give you one copy of this because I didn't want to waste all the paper printing out a bunch of these. So I'm going to give you another copy so you do have it on hand. I appreciate your time.
So will you work with me directly on facilitating, like I've got, the county attorney has this, right? And this was something that I'm glad you sent because we was unaware of. And it's like I said last night, my biggest worry is what's going to happen on private land, right?
So
but will you help me facilitate
from
with
your
KRS
comments last night, the lack of zoning and planning and the lack of what we have to protect our private property and our business property brings me to this point.
Yeah.
And yes, I will help you. I am a valuable resource when it comes to reaching out to the KRC. And I don't know if anybody understands what the KRC has done for the state, but they have helped tremendously in every aspect. And every piece of legislation that gets passed, they're involved in it.
Yeah.
So they're a powerful tool for counties to use and to have in their pocket, to put in their toolbox. So you guys have the toolbox. Here's the hammer. Let's put it into place, and let's get moving with it. And yes, to your point, Judge, I will be more than happy. You have my email. You have my contact.
Perfect.
Let's move. We can't wait.
I don't know if you've got my cell phone number or not, but
I do have a contact, I
okay.
think.
So my business card's back here with cell phone number on it. I want to move on this.
I want to get it on the agenda as soon as council reviews it, and I want to start getting a rough draft, and I want to get this moved because.
Well, county attorney knows.
Okay.
I mean, this is we're moving towards this, and that was my biggest worry. Right, was planning and zoning, and the problem with Kentucky planning and zoning, and I think it was created back in 2003. They done a really excellent job at it when they done it, but you can't have one without the other, and it's.
So this ordinance
in-depth.
does not deny the business from moving in. What it does is it allows you to implement tools to regulate how that business operates.
That's what we need. We need some ammo, right?
You've got some teeth in this ordinance to say you're going to move in, but this is how you're going to operate. And in 10 years, we don't have issues, or 5 years of this business operating.
Okay.
So it handles everything from soil to runoff, light, noise pollution, power generation on site. It's a very, I mean, like I said, I just got this on Friday or Saturday, and it's been a windfall, just like you guys are dealing with right now, of information. I can tell you anything about landfills, data centers are new. I'm very well versed in landfills to the point of I don't want to know any more about landfills. But I'm learning about data centers, and we need to move forward with this. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good
Let's work
day.
together on this. and
Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Sean.
much. And Curtis, you've got a copy of that in your inbox, all right?
So who is our county attorney? I'm going to tell you a Kentucky statute, and if you wouldn't care to look at it and see if it would be something that would be applicable for us for a moratorium for the county, and it's KRS 132.452.
What was it, one more time? Can you say it again?
132.452. And it's a short one, but the reason I was referring it to you is because I figured you'd be able to read the language well enough to see if it's something that we could use in this instance for the county to be able to do a moratorium the way that the city can. Because it's about like property assessment and stuff, but it is one that is listed specifically for county governments.
So we're looking at, sorry.
You're good, you take your time.
I'm not texting, I promise.
You're fine, you're fine. I had to read it off my phone because that's the only screen I have with me today, so me either.
Yeah, it pulled up.
I know, but I need it in front of me. Go
Because
ahead.
like
I'm
you
sorry.
said,
No, you're
tools,
good.
we need as many as we can get.
Yes, we do.
So some of you guys were at the meeting last night, and I know that all of us didn't get to talk, and we heard a lot of numbers last night. But I think one of my biggest worries were from, Tara Wolf, AEP, empty promises, that we don't have contracts for anything that's legally binding, that they can promise us the world and then deliver us nothing. Hindsight is 20/20. We can look back and see what like coal mining did to a lot of eastern Kentucky towns and how they're devastated and they're ghost towns. I'm from Bateville, Kentucky originally, and we went from a booming coal town to we have all of 300 people enrolled, like students total in the high school, and that's the county school. That's the only school there. So that's how tiny my town has gotten since they closed our mine in 1990. And I don't want to see this big boom of something that's just going to let us down in just a few years because we said last night technology is fickle and, short-lived.
Right.
So some numbers that I think is important for us to know is, and by the way, I'm a Laura. I teach biology at OU in Ironton. So I'm a biology professor. And one of the things that worries me is the volume of energy that this facility is going to use. And then whether or not you believe in climate change, greenhouse gases is something that's bad for all of us, whether that's something that you are familiar with or not. It is factual. There's a lot of scientific evidence out there. The experiments have been done, right? So this facility, it's going to start out as a 500 megawatt facility, correct? And then be up to a gigawatt facility by 2030.
Correct.
That's massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay, so I sat down and I did the math. So it will consume roughly 8.76 terawatts of terawatt hours of energy annually. Where typically our electric bills, when we get them, say kilowatt hours, kWh. Last month, my house used 1,233 kilowatt hours. Okay, so kilowatts, a kilowatt is 1,000 watts. A terawatt is 1 trillion watts. Usually when you try to type that number in on your calculator, it comes up with exponents, like to the 12th power. That's a crazy amount of energy. And then already they talked about like Big Sandy in Louisa is going to be the facility that's supplying that energy. And they can't make enough to support that. If it's running off natural gas, running off coal, those are finite fossil fuels. We will run out of them. And it's just going to be more big boom that we've seen of short-term jobs, long-term disarray that's going to come from it. And I don't want to see that for my people or my community because my papa was a coal miner and I got to see black lung and the cancers that came from it up close. Sometimes in the short term, it seems great. In the long term, we get to see what suffering comes later. I've got a lot of information here that has good resources that I'm happy to share with you guys. Some of it comes from government web pages, some of it from Kentucky Power Zone website. They said that they need these new people to come in to help surplus and support where they've lost customers.
But last year, Kentucky Power, let's see my numbers, had over $40 million in profits, Kentucky Power, and AEP had $3.58 billion. It doesn't sound like to me from any of those numbers that they need any new customers to support or give money to their shareholders,
Are
right?
those-
That's profits.
I'm sorry, are those nets or gross?
Net.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Big
profit
numbers.
net, not gross. And that is from Kentucky Power's website, their post that they put out for their shareholders annually. And you can see it by quarter how much they made. And so as far as fossil fuel consumption, scientists expect, and this is for a research paper from the National Science Library, that they expect by 2030, right now, 1.5% of our fossil fuels are going toward data centers. They expect it to be 10% by 2030. That's when we expect this to be a gigawatt facility, massive. So putting an even greater strain on how much natural gas and coal that we have. But I'm going to sit down so that I don't take anybody else's time, but I will send this to you all with my additional notes because I made 8,000 chicken scratches last night because one of the most worrisome things is as we are all worried about what's going to happen to our water, our power bill, our air, noise pollution, things like that. We are also seeing at the state and federal level protections be repealed that would have protected us from that. Like even at the state level right now, Senate Bill 89, I don't know if you all were familiar, it went through like in the last 6 months. They repealed Senate Bill 89 repealed some of the Clean Water Acts for Kentucky that made it more likely that companies could put, toxins, runoff, pesticides, whatever, that could affect groundwater. And I don't know if you're like me, my Nana has well water and tax water. So it's things that we're worried about. Our governments at different levels are also removing things that would have protected us from the consequences of it. So we're nervous. And, we need all of your all's help that we can get. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, grab my business cards on the way out. I've got them sitting back there by the door. They got my cell phone number on them. Let's have these conversations and continue them. I know we've got 5 minutes just so everybody can have time to talk, but that doesn't mean I don't want to continue the conversations. All right.
Hi, my name's Ellen Spielis, and we've had a lot of conversation about the data center. As I'm drilling through this last minute, we all got late notice, so we're all doing our best to figure out what all this means. I think it's super important that we call this what it is. It is a hyper data center. That is a designation that is super important because when the data centers go in classifications, an AI data center produces so much noise, so much this, that, and the other thing, takes up so much electricity, but this is a hyper data center, and she just went through all the stats, which I have no ability to go through. There's a couple concerns I've had because I have a 100-acre piece of property I manage for wildlife. There's a thing called tonal noise, which I haven't heard a lot of people discuss. Something I found out this morning, I was worried about EMF. There's more than that to worry about. There's also ELF, which is, it's a low frequency noise. These are 24/7 noises that disrupt your circadian rhythms, your sleep. Like her, I have chicken scratch everywhere. They require all-night lighting that disrupts your circadian rhythms of the body, including melatonin production, hormones that regulate sleep, sleep-wake cycles. Light pollution is also disturbing to migration patterns and habitat development among birds, butterflies, bees, bats, cats, turtles, and everything you can imagine. And I actually am a volunteer instructor for Fish and Wildlife, but I am not a biologist, so I cannot answer any of those questions. Fish and Wildlife should be brought in. I've been looking at what the communities are fighting since the data centers have come, because much like what happened here in Kentucky, it was all done in the dead of night. And I understand NDAs. I came from a business background. I understand East Park's role in trying to sell the land. Anybody living within a certain distance is going to suffer a lot of health risks. There's things I don't even understand. Something capital N, capital O with a little x, which my friend last night knows exactly what it is going to come off the generators. You have the light pollution, the noise pollution. Some of it you'll hear and some of it you won't hear. I'm seeing vast estimates in distances up to 5 miles out. I don't know. What worries me is the community that lives in and around the industrial. You have legacy farms where those properties have been passed down through generations, and they've had no say in this. They're trying to hold on to land that was been in the family for, at what I heard last night, one person was 100 years. These 300 jobs, I don't know what they're going to amount to. I don't know if it's going to be 300 jobs. They might promise this, that, or the other thing. But what this project has done is destroyed property value in the surrounding area. No one's going to be able to sell a house. Their houses are worthless as of, 5 days ago? No one's going to want to buy their property. They're stuck there. And some of those houses, I drove through the industrial the other day. Beautiful homes that people worked a lifetime for. Farms that families have given everything for to hang on to. And it's all worthless ground right now. I see it in other states. Those communities have been destroyed. Their health has been destroyed. They're estimating somewhere 20 million, 20 billion. At that point, it all becomes numbers. Just in U.S. data centers in 2030 could cause approximately 600,000 asthma symptom cases, 1,300 premature deaths, exceeding 1/3 of asthma deaths in the U.S. each year, resulting in public health burden of more than $20 billion. I have a question which I've discussed with Eric, and I can't formulate it because I don't understand the power grid and how we use electricity. But there was a lady last night that talked about SMRs. Okay, those are small modular reactors. They're critical, clean, baseload power source. I don't agree or disagree with them because I literally found out the term last night. But by 2030, those are going to be the new standard for these hyper data centers, if not all data centers. Now, my question is, when and if Tara Wolf goes to these SMRs, all this infrastructure that we build, that we are paying for as consumers to build for them to get here and start building, what is going to become of all that? Because all of these, and I don't even know the right terms, these big caged in areas where you have power lines emit EMF within a certain area, and it's 300 yards or something, I don't know. Somebody else has to answer that. We don't even know what that means. We don't even know what the future looks like for these. And we're building now for something that's going to maybe or maybe not sink our battleship, and then they're going to change it and they're going to bring in something else. Where's all that money go? What did we destroy?
So on the SMRs, and we had this conversation before the meeting started. Personally, I think that's the way of the future, and I think that's what we're going to have. I think they're smart. They're very tactful. It's nuclear. That's the energy that it is, which is extremely clean. Of course, we've all heard Chernobyl, and we've all heard 3 Mile Island, and we know that those things exist, right? But, they've been putting these small reactors on carriers for 40, 50 years, right? So, they've got a way to stabilize them. It's on a moving ship. They can find a way to do it on land. And there's plenty of these companies that are investing in these. I do believe it's the way of the future. I do have the same question that you do, because I don't know what happens when large users will switch to SMRs, which essentially is smart for them, for the company, right? I don't know what happens to the grid. So that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, because I would assume that it would produce an excess of power that would probably sell back to the grid, but I don't know that answer either. I wish SMRs had been developed earlier, and I wish there was a bigger push on it. So those are questions that we have to get answered. And I'm sure that I'm sure that they know that that's coming at some point. And I'm not saying that this site would ever be switch to an SMR? I don't know that answer. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I don't know. But that would be a question that I would like to ask AEP too. What would be the plan if that was to happen? Because there are industrial sites currently that have on-site power generation that they sell back to the grid itself, and I don't know how that deal works, you know. So I'd be curious on that. So that is one that we will definitely make a note on, because that's long term, right? And the other stuff you're talking about, I mean, me and you had the conversation on sound and all that stuff there earlier. You know, those are going to be. I want to see an engineered report of what they put out, and I'm not talking about decibels. I think we'll find that decibels is going to be more manageable than what we're imagining. You know, and I plan on visiting a couple data centers in the near future, because I want to hear them too. You know, I work the refinery. I know that 85 decibels, you got to have earplugs in. I get that.
Just make sure they're hyper.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're going to do an absolute comparison of apples to apples. I don't want to. So I am curious on that. But I think we'll find that the sound and the light will be something that is easily managed through engineering controls. And we need to ask TerraWolf what their plan is for that. So, but the other questions, as far as the output and all that, I don't know. I can't even begin to get into that. But we'll definitely have that conversation with them. Thank you very much. All right. Community comment?
My name's Cody Miller. I'm a resident here in Boyd County. I'm here to talk about data centers. I live off the Marcio area. Y'all know there's a giant logging operation just took place. And it's destroyed the roads through there. I'm just curious what the county is planning on to do to fix the roads. Did we make them put up a road bond? I've talked to Dave about it, and he's going to get back with me. So I don't know if you know, do we have these private companies put up a road bond that we can go after?
Who's he at?
I can help with that. He was on a call.
Okay, good. He'll be able
They
to
did a
answer.
logging, Cody, and Pigeon Roost there about a year and a half ago. Same company. They went back and fixed the road.
So we
And Bobby
filmed the
has all
road.
yeah.
We filmed the road before
Yeah.
the logging operation starts, and then we, of course, take pictures afterwards. We film it again and then compare. And is it the same company?
Same company. And
Okay.
they went back and repaired it.
They'll
so they'll
repair
go back
the
and
road.
repair it.
Yeah,
Good deal.
we make sure it's taken care of because they're destroying it. I mean, and you don't want that to fall back on the taxpayers, right? Because it's a public road at the same time, so I understand why they have to do it. But yes, they'll fix the road. They've done it before, and they'll do it again.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Jamie Lavery. I'm here from my friend Lisa Epling. She's the curator of the cemetery. And at one of the last meetings, they were talking about the grass mowing. And right now, they pay $1,800 a month to cut the grass. Before the prisoners did cut the grass, they kept it up. The cemetery was nice and clean. But now Lisa has to pay that money out of the cemetery money to do that. If there is a way, because they are a 501c, she does have that paper. I don't have that with me. If there is a way that we could get back to that, she could put that money back into the cemetery and get the trees taken down that are rotten, that need to be removed. And I help Lisa all the time to find unmarked graves, help her pick things up. You know, and I'm basically here as someone who has family buried there, but also to help her. She's just not a big public speaker person. But it would be nice if we could have someone to come and cut the grass again instead of her paying $1,800 a month for that. That's a lot of money.
Bill, how are we handling 501c3s, nonprofits?
If they're 501c nonprofit, we can.
That's what I thought.
They just have to submit it into us. We go out there and evaluate it, see how long manpower it would take, and see where we can fit it on the schedule.
The issue has never been whether if it's 501c3, I mean, it's a nonprofit organization, which is great. What we couldn't get into, and we had been into, which is unfortunate, was we had been on private property, right? And there's a lot of liability there on both sides. You got the owner side and you got the government side. So we stayed away from privately owned properties. Now we are running into some issues that there's a cemetery, for instance, won't say which one, but when you look it up on PVA, it doesn't have an owner.
Right,
You
and I
know,
know
so
there are
we're-
several that way in Boyd
Yeah,
County.
so what we're trying to do is we're working with PVA, and we're trying to go back through and find the deeds and see when it changed hands, but nonprofits we can do. So yeah, if we can have a conversation with
You talking about Calixburg cemeteries?
Yes, sir.
oh,
I am.
okay. Okay.
And I know they cut it before, you know, and Lisa does an excellent job. I mean, if you haven't been up there, I mean, she works tirelessly to make sure that it's clean. She even cleans the headstones on her own.
Yeah, there's
That's
a lot of
something
work
that
went
she
in there.
shouldn't have to do, and that's a lot of work that she puts into that cemetery because she takes pride in that cemetery. I mean, you can ask David. I mean, he's in a committee with us, so he knows how she is. But she does an excellent job, and to keep them to do that $1,800 a month that she has to pay could go towards other things, especially the trees. There are some very dangerous trees in that cemetery that do need to come down, and they're actually marked with a big X. So, you know, I mean, if it storms just right, that tree's going to come down. So it
We
needs
went
to
in
be
there,
done.
so Calixburg did not used to be a 501c.
That's right. When I
Then
went
it
took
switched to
office, it was.
501c. We went over there and took it over.
Yes.
And we cut it, and now we're just doing the weed eating, right? We do the weed eating, all the weed eating, but
Do the trash, I think.
and the trash. The
In Las
plan
Vegas.
was, when we talked to them, we went in there, we would get it all fixed up. We did it for a few years, and then we'd gradually let them build up money. We gradually peel back to the weed eating so we could help more with the parks and stuff. So that's what's happened. You know, and then it was just this year, we flipped to the weed eating and we empty all the garbage.
Yes.
So I guess what you're saying is, that's not working for you all right now. Y'all
Well, it
having,
is working, yes, but it's just that money that she could use for other things. I mean, the trees are, like I said, very dangerous. If you go up there, you'll see them. They're all marked with a big blue X. So, you know, if you would be, like, say Saturday, for example, when it stormed, if you happen to be in there, a nice, good puff of wind, that tree could have blown right over on your car.
so
Could have hit a person.
basically what I have to do is this. So what happens is we get a lot of requests, right?
Right.
And we know how long that takes. We know that and so when we decided to, you know, we were going to do it in stages and cut back just to weed eating grass, that's because then we picked up somebody else to help them out. So basically what I really need to sit down with my lieutenant over that operation and say, what's your manpower? What can we do? Can we go back to the whole grass cutting? Can we do it every 2 weeks? Can we do it once a month? Because we had it looking really well, but we thought that they would take in that time to be able to take it over so it wasn't, but we'll just have to look at it. But you do qualify.
Right. And, you know, and like I said,
But we were
she
doing
does
the
have it
tapering
papered.
system on that one, and so you might need some more time, but I'm going to have to look and see the resources, and do we have to knock somebody else off to do it, or
Right.
can we fit it in?
Right.
Right, and hopefully you can. I mean, you know, if just once a month would be great because it looks so much better now that someone who cares and has a passion for that cemetery than how it was before. You know, I mean, she's there every day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day to always check it out. But I do have one more thing real quick. My roads are a mess, and I did talk to David about that too. Anywhere from Midland Trail behind the library all the way up Carlisle and both sides of Booth Quillen. The holes are huge. One of them can swallow a car right next to Snyder's.
You get that, Gary? All right.
I think they patched it. The patch is gone.
Yeah, we patched
it
it
could
about, I don't know, I don't know, a month or
Because
two
that was
ago.
David months ago about it.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's the second conversation we've had today. And when that patch left, I think that's the reason why he went back over and had James go with him. So yeah, we've been working on it. It's just a matter of getting time.
I just wanted to bring it up again. I knew you didn't forget me, but since I see you once a month. But, you know, I just wanted to bring that up. But thank you very much for your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Lisa Epling is the person that we put up there for the historian on the cemeteries in Boyd County. She's
Fantastic.
I want to make sure, like, clarify the tree. I know you mentioned the tree removal. I'm not sure what size tree you're referring to.
We won't.
I don't, as much as I love the idea that we have those crews that can volunteer, I don't think we can put the liability on those
No.
people to remove trees. So I don't want to set that expectation.
I think she's saying she wants to save them. She's
Oh,
looking
okay.
to save the 1,800 to be able to put towards the
Okay,
tree
I'm like,
removal.
man,
That's kind of what
let's
I'm
not
thinking.
remove trees. All right. Sure. So you're saying the money saved could go to the tree removal? Super, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Community comment, do we have anybody else?
Hi, my name is Tiara. I live in Rush. I'm not a politician, businessman, anything like that, so I don't know any of the terminology or the processes one would have to go, but I am here to talk about the data center and concerns. I am very worried about the environment and health, and everybody already spoke about that and gave their statistics in a much clearer way than I could. But again, I just want to express the importance of getting contractual legal protections in place so that if we are being lied to by the company and they come in and they mess something up, that we have legal recourse to stop them from doing that, and that they can't just say, oopsie, and then keep going for years. And also testing so that we know if that's happening, so that we know if something is polluting the water, so we can't just say, hey, TerraWolf, are you polluting the water? And they say, no, trust me, and then that's it.
Right.
Like, get actual testing so we know what's going on, and hey, maybe the testing will show that they're keeping up their word and everything is fine. If so, great. But I would like for there to be frequent testing in place to ensure that the noise levels, the light levels, the water isn't getting polluted, and contractual legal protections so that if they try to pollute or contaminate something, or even if they do it accidentally, that we can put a stop to it and we don't just have to sit there and take it like all the other counties that have, or states, sorry. All the other states that have had data centers put in, especially like in Utah. I know we spoke about that previously, how they did everything wrong, so let's not do everything wrong
That's
here.
right.
If this project has to go ahead, let's do it right and ensure that everybody is protected. Because I didn't get to speak at the last meeting, I had to work, but I have lived on my family's land for generations. It's a 106-year-old hunting cabin that we've refurbished, and I live on well water, and I'm very, very afraid of having to move out of that place and leave because the water is contaminated or because it becomes too polluted, especially because, as people have already pointed out, once the data center starts to produce, my property value gets lower and lower and lower, and if I have to move away, I won't really have any money with which to do so because I probably won't be able to sell my house for a penny. That's all I have to say. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think did we talk the other night? We did. Okay. Okay. I thought so. And I agree. And I mean, something I'm going to request for sure is, and it's two private sector companies, but I'm going to request AEP's contract with TerraWolf and see what that deal is, to make sure it is what everybody in this room has been told it is. Right. So we'll request that for sure. And I know you was nervous up here, but you done a fantastic job. Okay. You done great.
Yeah,
You did. It took a lot of heart and you did great.
Hi, I'm Bryn Martin. I'm from Greenup County, Russell, and I don't want to take any space from people from Boyd if there's someone else that wanted to come up.
You're good.
You're fine.
Okay.
We're all one people here. Yep.
All right, okay, because yes, we're all going to be impacted. So I'm not going to repeat what I said yesterday. I encourage, if you didn't get to come, to please watch the recordings or listen to the broadcast. Lots of informative information. Russell had a meeting this morning, also a special meeting. And you mentioned you were going to go to some of the data centers. I would like to encourage that when you go, don't just go and look individually. Already have some established metrics, something that you can use to compare. You need to know what you're looking for, what you're looking at. And so we need to be clear on exactly what it is. And don't just look at a new one being built. We need to also look at some that's been there for a while so we can look at impact, look at some of their environmental studies if they've already done them. And I encourage us to do our own as well. And I offered my help there. I am not an expert by any means. You probably already get enough help from Boyd. But if you do, don't say we didn't have enough. I am willing, and I go on record as saying that. So, but I thank you all for bringing this forth and giving everybody a chance. I wish it would have been done sooner. But we also need, I think, some kind of agreement and understanding of what their contract promises are in terms of employment. I keep hearing a lot of words about they might hire locals for contractors. We need to know specifically, we need to stipulate, what percentage of their employees or hirings are going to be right from here, not just and for a little while, but, long term, so that they don't just hire out after all the lights are dim, right, and hire out overseas or just get AI to do the work. So we really need some more commitments and some more reports and some more studies, and I hope you all are willing to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Did somebody have a question for me?
No.
Or
No, we were,
comment?
So
Oh, right.
that's what I was thinking. Like, if I go, I need to find one that's one gig, right? I need to go there, and whether it's old, new, I don't want to see one that's under construction. I want to see one that's operating, and then I'd like to talk to the local government that's there, and see. And that's what I tried to state last night, that I feel is kind of in our corner. What's going on in Hancock County is a little bit different. They bought private land, right? So the government's learning about it right along with the people. What I do like about that process is that they're about 6 months ahead of us. So I get to know kind of what's going to happen next here. But I do want to go see a data center. I got to find one that's the same size and talk to their local government and some people in the community. So I'm going to do that, and I'll report back on that.
There's some in Kentucky. Someone had mentioned some being built in Columbus, if you want something nearby. But but there's a lot out there, and we do know that there are some lawsuits that already are in place. So going through some of those, especially I know of one in New York, and I think it's still ongoing. So I'm just not sure how we got here with all of these contingencies already out
I
there
think
and
the one in
open.
New York was about water, because I think they drained an entire lake. Yeah, the lake was. Yeah. Yeah. That's the one I read about.
But
There's all kinds of
okay,
information.
and that's pulling out of a reservoir. Is that
Yes.
right? On that one up there, or a lake, or
I couldn't either. Yeah.
okay.
I couldn't pronounce it either. Yeah.
Send them to me. Is that a 1 gig?
It's a 1 gig hyper.
That's the one that they pay them.
No, this is in Indiana. You're from
That's the one that they pay the people back on their power bill. He sent me some information on that last week. Lebanon, no.
Look,
Is that what it is?
Lebanon, Indiana.
Okay. I'll make this visit pretty soon. I think Commissioner Holbrook's found one, I think 5 hours away. He's going to see what size it is, but I want to do that. And I'll go to a different facility that's, well, maybe not a terrible facility. That way I don't get a biased opinion, right? It'd be better for me to do that. Wouldn't you think? Or do both. How about I just go to both? We'll go to both. Road trip. I wrote down road trip.
There you go.
What is it? No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree
absolutely.
completely.
Even talking to places like the health department to see if they've seen anything new since it became operational. Because like there's already studies that have shown that like people are getting more migraines. There are people that work in data centers that are having chronic nose and throat bleeding from like sound is waves, right? So from noise levels, even with ear protection, they are having like vessels rupture and cause bleeding.
Okay.
And that's happening in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that there's not currently a 1 gigawatt center in operation. As of right now, the biggest are 500 to 750 megawatt.
Okay.
So this is completely new territory. So there's not even one that you can go see in operation. They're all in development.
Did you see the one that they just announced in, is it Piketon? Did you see that announcement? 10 gig. 10 gig. I have no idea on that.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
AI is worse.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that is an artist or an educator, you've seen the consequences of AI.
Mm-hmm.
It is not making, it might be artificial intelligence, but there is not a person on this earth that it is making smart.
Right, that's true, very true. Yeah.
Like, it is rough to see people not think for themselves, and then for us to lose resources, land, like, because that area we said is already marked industrial, right?
That's right.
But there are industries, like food production, greenhouses, things that are industry that produce a product of some kind that we pay money for, that won't potentially devastate our area for generations to come.
Right.
And hopefully we can slow them down long enough to figure something out.
Well, I think this KRC, this here has me very interested that Sean brought forth. I don't know if he's still here. There he is. This I want to dive into immediately and see what our capabilities are, what we're able to do here. So I think we've got, and I'll go visit a couple, and I'll report back, and I'll do that rather quickly.
Has anyone seen or received an update on Ashland's research and report? I know when they put a moratorium on it for 180 days back in February, they said they were going to do a report and release it. Do you know how much they've done on that? Did you try to consult with them and get
I
okay.
don't know on that, but I can find out. I mean, I will.
This one just got started.
I think so too.
Eric, I also check electrical rates at these plants.
Yeah.
The ones I'm seeing, there's one in Texas, residents say their electrical rates have tripled.
Yeah, and they have. So, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and there are, and that's what you saw in Utah, Virginia, Georgia. You would see rates skyrocket, right? What I found there, and I don't know that it directly correlates, but I would assume that it would have to do with some of it, is the grids in those areas were already sitting at 90 to 95% capacity. So you go adding 25% to that, and if there was no contract wrote that data center had to pay for that upgrade, the electric company reports to the Public Service Commission. They can't tell you no, so they have to provide the power, and of course they're going to pass that on to the ratepayer.
Our rates have gone up 75% in the last 11 years.
And we don't have a data center, and they're still going up. So, and I think, it took me a little bit, because at first, and I just had this conversation, I was like, it's the war on coal. It doesn't get cheaper than burning a rock, and we can have that conversation a different day. But I do understand the purpose or the statement from Kentucky Power about how we've lost users. We've lost major users, and that cost has to be divided up. If you've lost 8,000 customers in a 10-year time frame, which is 957 gigawatt hours of sales, somebody has to make up for that, because Kentucky Power still has to supply the same amount of overhead. They still got the same amount of transmission lines. They still got the number of employees. So I think this is definitely, we need to look at it. I know we've got more room on our grid than what they had in these other areas. And I mean, I just need to get that contract between the two parties and go from there. No, what I was referring to is SMRs. If SMRs went in, then SMRs could sell back to the grid if they had excess power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But as the lady mentioned earlier, they're still making millions and taking home millions of profit and paying their CEOs tens of millions. So even though that might be true, it's impacting us when it doesn't have to.
That's right.
They could just take a little bit less. And why they keep choosing greed makes them rather take more and squeeze out of us when so many people are here and struggling. 20% poverty at least that some of our kids are living in. That is just really unmentionable to me.
Yeah.
And I went to the hearings to keep those Kentucky Power rates down. I even suggested not having any rates and have a decrease. I believe in bold advocacy. So I went there. I also went to Frankfurt and testified at the PSC. Suzanne was also there, Suzanne Griffith. So we've been doing this. We did it the time before. They can't keep looping us into circles, always threatening your livelihood and threatening to throw the price up while they're walking home with millions. Yeah. How can we ever progress if we have to keep fighting the same battle over and over again and deal with the same threats? So we have to get beyond that. We have to work together as a community, and we have to do something about this corporate greed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
The number that I threw out earlier for like the 8.76. Microphone, please. Oh, sorry. The number that I threw out earlier for the 8.76 terawatt hours of energy that they expect for a data center of this size to use, I did the math on the lower number. So quoted, like if you go on Kentucky Power's website, they say that they charge about 15 cents per kilowatt hour. Mine, I checked, and I'm at 17 cents per kilowatt hour. And I'm sure if you all pulled up your electric bill, we could do the math and find out that we're getting charged different rates anyway with no explanation, different amounts of fees. And like I saw on my electric bill that I had something that was called like a fuel cost of some kind. Yeah, sure. Whatever that means to AEP, right? So I did the math at the 15-cent rate. And one of the reasons that I had so many reserves about trusting AEP's word about like who's going to pay for the grid updates and things like that is that for 1 year of just the electric bill, that's not counting money that they're supposed to give to update the power grid, it was $1.3 billion that AEP should expect, or Kentucky Power should expect to make from TeraWolf alone. So when they're pushing this project and like, oh yeah, it'll be great, you won't have to, either way, they're making it out with $1.3 billion. And I think if somebody is on the inside of something, that is a bias, and I can't trust their word, solely on their word, if they're going to be making a literal $1 billion out of it. So I have some things that make me hesitate with taking their words. And we've had a couple of people mention like contracts, and we want something binding that could be enforceable, or at least, you know, something that could be grounds for, like, we need protections. Because if we don't find a way with the KRC or the KRS or whatever statute we can create to make stuff to protect us, and this goes forward against our will, I imagine that the community will be very late 1960s, early 1970s, ugly tree hugger people, you know, doing stand-ins and things like that, if they genuinely don't want it, especially the people in the community that live very close to it that don't want to see their, you know, like the value of their homes and farms and stuff go down. But yeah, $1.3 billion is exactly why I can't just take their word for it.
A lot of money.
And I'm gonna everything that I've typed up, there's a few of us that have done some research, and I've got all kinds of resources. I'll make sure to share them with you guys, and then I'll try to see if I can get it out to whoever is here that wants it. I am sure everybody in this room doesn't like the feeling of being bought and sold. You know, East Park is privately owned, correct?
No.
And like, who gets the money for selling the property?
East Park.
East Park.
So East Park was created.
Fiveco?
Nope. No, I need to clear that up, 100%.
Okay.
Fiveco and East Park,
We need to
two
learn.
totally different things.
Okay.
I use the word Fiveco a lot in reference to the Fiveco region, right? Fiveco is its own entity. They called me the other day and they're like, please stop using that name. They're getting blowed up, open records requests, all that. They don't have anything to do with East Park other than East Park's right there beside the Fiveco building. East Park created 1998, 5 counties, fiscal court, judge executive has an appointee to that board. And the appointee is a representative for that county. So every county has that. And then they're autonomous in the regard that it's public land, but they can sell that land. They make the deals. They they get the appraisals. All the sales agreements are with East Park. There's no fiscal court approval required for any of that to move forward. So they're not private. They're they're a public industrial park is what they are, created under KRS statute. So that's how they operate.
So when the sale goes through for the land, where does that money go?
That goes to East Park. So East Park, when Brady Industries sold, when Brady Industries bought that same piece of property, they purchased it and it went into East Park's coffers. And East Park, they keep up.
Describe East Park for me.
It's
so I
East
know
Park
what type-
Industrial, I think it's Authority or Industrial Park. East Park Industrial.
Describe what type of organization they are, if you don't care.
They're a nonprofit, government appointed. They're in charge of running the industrial park that's up there. all the land, like where Centos is, where AT&T, all that, that's all East Park.
Yes.
And then you've got like a board, the directors, that essentially operate that industrial authority. So
That land get given to East Park? Like, how does that
so back
decision
in,
go about?
and now this is like, I was 8 years old, right? So I think in
It was
98,
formed by
Addington,
Governor
wasn't
Paul Patton.
it? Okay.
Tell me
And
again.
Governor Paul Patton formed he did an industrial park in every ad district in the state of Kentucky.
Okay.
We're the Five-Co ad, that's an ad district, which that's where all the money's filtered through for the state of Kentucky, so forth and so on. Every ad district has an industrial park, and each one of those industrial parks came from the property that was out of the counties. The two counties that aren't involved, Elliott County and Lawrence County, they signed a mutual aid agreement, which that enhances the ability for the state of Kentucky to help with the development of an industrial park. It's an industrial council is what it is, basically, is what they formed out there with the 5 county judges.
And who are they responsible to? Like, who do they answer to? You said there's a board. Who
Yeah,
does
there's
that
a
board
board. They
answer
have
to?
public meetings just like we do. Ultimately, it would be at the direction of the appointee from each fiscal court. So yeah, it
So
comes
how-
back to
how do
each
we-
judge executive, all
How do
5
we as a
counties.
community communicate to East Park
They have
that
m-
we don't want this?
They have meetings when are the meetings?
It's on the third Tuesday,
Third-
third
There-
Monday.
Is there
third Monday.
anything with East Park that, like, because we had because there was a petition last night. Do you all remember how many signatures there were? Someone brought it up.
I think 2,500.
2,500. Was that the change.org one? Was that the change.org one online?
Yes, those change.org.
Okay.
Someone
2,500.
gave it to me, I signed
Okay.
it, and she asked me to share that.
Okay, so with a petition, that was one of the things that when I was trying to research, like, what county government can do, was first you would need a petition. We've had a petition go around, at least 2,500 signatures so far. Like, what is our next step? Because obviously people are fired up because we're worried, rightfully so. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of it that's actually data-driven, well-researched information, not just Facebook talk, So what can we do, because like you've got the KRC, what do we know of that we can do to either slow this so that we can have more time to get research, to get experts in here to make sure that we are going to be safe if it can't be stopped? But if it can be stopped, what can we do?
I don't know the answer to that.
Who's the
And I
next
don't-
person we ask?
So there's documents, I'm sure, between the purchaser of the property and East Park that exist that don't exist at any fiscal court. So sales documents, whatever that may be, that's where I would start. Or you could go state rep routes. I don't know. East Park is where I would start.
Do you think East Park has any real responsibility to the community? Because they serve those 5 counties.
They're all
right?
residents of the communities.
Right, okay.
They have to live in the counties that they serve.
So if their community and county members don't want this to happen, is there anything that East Park can do at this point?
I don't think so.
Do you know anything about the contract part of it?
On the sale?
Yeah.
I've never seen the sale.
See, that's the whole thing with it is, well, I guess with all the NDA and stuff like that, that's the part I've been asking myself, so. Yeah.
I wonder how much stuff in that NDA is actually protected by an NDA, especially since they got public officials to sign it. And I feel like that was an unfair thing to you because there are certain things that you are beholden to the community, like the people that you serve.
Yeah, I had a lot of thought on that last night, man. I even went home and talked to my dad about that. That one.
Because that's something that
I
you
told
all
him
should have had
afterwards, I
time to
said-
consider and seek legal counsel for to make sure that someone wasn't
Yeah.
putting you in a position.
No, I get that, and I had done them in the past, and just thought it was just the business as usual. Because like I said, it never crossed my mind, right? And you can take that for whatever it's worth at surface level or believe it, but yeah, that question that gentleman asked me last night, that one stuck with me. I even told my dad when I got home, I said, I fear that I made a decision that turned me into the people that I despise, which is in government, right? So that one stuck with me.
Yeah. I feel like with
one
Tara
stuck with
Wolf
me.
and Kentucky Power, they are very flashy with their numbers, how many jobs they can create, whether long-term or short-term, how much money it's going to save somebody. But the things they aren't mentioning are the things that are going to have long-term effects for the people that live here. And I feel like that's what last night's meeting kind of felt like. Like, we hoped to have 1,000 construction jobs. We had all the guys in the front that felt like they were the riot club that were there to intimidate us for anybody that wasn't. Like, so many people in that room were pro-union or part. Like, I'm fighting for a union at Ohio University right now, and it didn't feel like there was like, yay, pro-union. It felt like, no, we are this specific type of union, and if you don't agree with us that we should have a data center, like, it's a real weird vibe. I was on the right side of the room if you were sitting in there, but
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting. I'd never
very
been
fiscally focused, and I know we're in
before
fiscal
either.
court today, and it's about money. But
Well, I will say this about last night. Regardless of thoughts, opinions, or anything in this room, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, agree or disagree, I will say that I think we're all blessed that we live in a country where we can have those conversations, right? And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, because there's a lot of places in this world that those meetings last night would have never happened.
Yeah.
And we are blessed all the way across the board that that's an option, to even be able to have those conversations.
I agree with you.
I have some research to do. I have a to-do list that I will get done. My conversations will be with East Park next, and I would request I would open record request those documents that they have regarding that.
Yeah. And if you need help doing that, there's a lot of people here that have obviously put in the hours researching. I've got a degree that says I can do so. And if you need people to go and visit facilities and stuff, because I know that there's just a few of you sitting up here, but you've got a community that also wants to support and make sure that we're going to be safe going forward too. So we're out.
Completely agree. Thank you.
Charlie Shelton with the Canonsburg Citizen. Eric, I just wanted to ask you specifically, y'all were talking about research. When this came across your desk in August of 25, did you put together any consultants or specialists or any type of research team?
No.
Before making this decision? You just wanted
I didn't
to
make a decision, but, no, I did not put together a team.
Would you consider that?
Consider putting together a
Or
team.
do you just want to rely on your own personal knowledge? I mean,
No.
what are you relying on to make this decision?
So there's due diligence reports that we have that was sent to me, and I said this last night. Was
Sent to you
me
from
last
who? Are they independent or are they from the corporation?
They're from the corporation.
Okay, wouldn't we want an independent study and an independent set of research?
I would direct that to East Park to do that.
You're part of East Park.
I have an
Can't you
appointee
answer-
to East Park. I would rather that money come from East Park's coffers than come from just Boyd County's fiscal court for payment, considering there's 5 counties in that. So I would direct that to East Park to do
And the trips that you're going to make for research, who's going to pay for that?
I would make that on behalf of Boyd County Fiscal Court.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question about the numbers from last night. You might remember. So the gentleman that was doing the talking last night, is that Bobby Hall?
All the talking? Yeah.
Well, besides you. No, besides you. So
Bobby, it was Bobby, yeah.
So I have a question. I just realized okay. So last night, if I heard him correctly, he said the sale went for $23,000 plus per acre.
Mm-hmm.
The people in this community got sold out for $7 million. Now, my question to anybody, the powers that be, is you just destroyed the property value of an untold amount of real estate, personal wealth, and everything. What is it going to do to the real estate values within a certain radius? And maybe we can look at other data centers and see what has happened in their communities. I don't know how you do that. Talk to a real estate brokers. I don't know.
I think we would have to compare.
Okay.
We would have to find.
But for $7 million, how much real estate value did this decision destroy?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's tax dollars. And if they come in on a $7 million, it's not even $7 million. Maybe there's a little bit more tax, if they even pay tax. But if they somehow end up like most businesses do coming into the community, saving tax money, and then you just destroyed, not you personally, but you just destroyed.
It's been a rough week.
Yes, sorry, it has been a tough week for you.
I deserve that.
Well, you weren't the only one that was part of this decision.
I'm just the only one that put it online.
Well, no, you're the only person that apparently has the guts to stand up and address the questions. So for that, I applaud you because you've done it with grace. What did we destroy for $7 million, folks? And how do we put a stop to it? Because I can promise you that $7 million won't touch the damage that this part of Kentucky is going to suffer. Appalachia's been abused before.
June 17th. The terror roof.
Oh, 17th, yeah. Anybody else community comment? All right. Next, we'll move to new business. Commissioners, y'all have anything? Nobody? When is the next meeting?
We got a
What is the 30th?
We got a schedule next one?
We've got
So to be determined?
first reading, which is probably online
Budget?
next week.
Okay.
But we do have a specific one on the 30th for sure for the second reading. I think that's still
Okay.
stands.
So next meeting, we're gonna have 2 additional meetings this month. Is that correct, Pruitt? 2
Correct.
additional meetings. We'll schedule the first one. We gotta get a date on it.
Second one's still June 30th.
Second one is June 30th. Okay, we'll get that scheduled.
Just for budget
First
reasons.
one's online. That's for budget.
Budget,
It's all
yeah.
budget meetings.
We gotta do budget this month. Gotta get it ready. Be a big surprise on the budget. Yeah, Aaron, you're gonna like it.
Hey, Judge, could I give a quick update about our dump day from this weekend?
That would be fantastic.
So we had like the biggest dump day we've ever had. We had 500 cars come this past weekend. So thank you for everybody for coming to the free dump day. That's huge for us. We're getting the numbers back on our tonnage. I'm sure it's going to be the biggest we've had. With the county dumpster program that we've talked about a lot, June 15th is going to be the opening day for it, finally. So June 15th at 8 a.m., we're going to run it all day. We'll have some more information out very soon on that, and we'll be able to get the schedule. We're very happy that we didn't start it before the free dump day because we would have been done in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So but I just wanted to give a quick update on that. We will have a video or a flyer out probably within the next week of all the details. It's the same situation as the free dump day, Boyd County residents. We have a little shack, I guess, up on the top at the entrance. You can take license and you'll be greeted there. Then you'll be able to unload your stuff, and we'll have some people there to help unload it. But I wanted to make sure we got that out today because I know we've been working on that for a while.
Yeah, and have patience with us on that dumpster program. It's probably gonna be, might be a mess there at first till we figure out kind of logistics on how it's gonna work.
There'll be some growing pains, but we'll be there. So just like you said, be patient with us. But we're excited to get that started June 15th at 8 o'clock in the morning.
All right. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you. Very important that we do this, get involved in our local community and ask questions. So I appreciate that very much. Get a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All right. Everybody in favor, thank you.